Okay, here's something to think about. What if those stories we tell ourselves, in moments of doubt, what if they aren't really lies, but more like the first draft of a new reality we haven't quite written yet?
Hmm, that's a really potent idea. And it definitely connects with what we're exploring today. Brandon Sanderson's huge work, The Way of Kings.
Huge is right. It's not just long. It's this incredibly complex world full of mysteries, characters dealing with, a lot. A really shattered past.
Exactly. And honestly, just figuring out where to start in a book that big can feel overwhelming.
Which is why today, we're zooming in. We want to focus on those early sparks, those little glimmers of hope and positive change that start to show up even when things seem bleak.
Think of it like finding the trail markers on a massive mountain. We're pointing out the key spots.
Yeah, exactly. And, speaking of exploring complex stories, if you're into digging deeper into themes and ideas like this, you should really check out Mindful Moments.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's our YouTube channel. They use AI for some fascinating book analyses. It's pretty cool. Actually, really makes you think more critically about the narratives. Worth a look.
Interesting. Okay, so where do we begin with The Way of Kings? Right at the start, it feels pretty heavy, doesn't it?
It really does. That opening scene with Kalak and Jezrien,
Yeah.
wow. It just hits you with this sense of despair right off the bat. And that lie.
The easy enough lie, as Kalak thinks of it. Jezrien basically says, let's just tell everyone they won, after what seems like a catastrophic loss.
He just walks away from this scene of devastation. It's a lie born of exhaustion, maybe?
Could be both. And then you have Kalak, left alone, and he takes his sword, this incredibly powerful weapon, a shard blade.
And jams it into the rock next to 8 others. But there's supposed to be 10.
Right. That empty ninth spot, it's such a stark visual. 9 swords, 1 space empty. It screams that something is fundamentally broken, doesn't it? A broken oath, a broken order.
Definitely. It sets a tone of loss, of something important being fractured right from the beginning.
But even in that opening darkness, there's this other thread. It comes a bit later, with Seth.
Ah, Seth, the assassin in white. His final words to the king he's just killed.
Exactly. After all that violence, his dying request isn't for mercy or justification. It's profound. He says, you must find the most important words a man can say.
It's such a strange, almost philosophical plea, isn't it? Especially given the context.
It really is. But it plants this seed, this idea that even at the moment of death, after terrible acts, there's this quest for meaning, a hope that some ultimate positive truth exists and is worth finding.
It suggests that maybe the answers aren't just about power or victory, but something deeper. Words, meaning.
Precisely. It hints at an enduring human need, something beyond the immediate conflict. And we see hints of that need for connection in smaller ways, too, like with Shalyn.
Right, Shellen's journey. When she arrives on that ship heading towards Carbranth.
Yeah, she's in a vulnerable position, embarking on this risky plan. You might expect people to be indifferent or even hostile.
But the captain. He's unexpectedly kind to her, isn't he? Especially about her drawing.
He is. He genuinely appreciates her sketch of his wife. It's just a small moment, a simple interaction.
But it feels significant. A little bit of warmth, of human connection, where you might not expect it. It stands out.
It really does. It's a reminder that even amidst hardship and grand schemes, these small kindnesses matter. They offer these glimmers you were talking about.
We see a different kind of positive development maybe with Kaladin, specifically how he deals with Chivlakov.
Ah, yes. Devlakov, the slave trader who sold him. Kaladin has every reason to hate this man, to want revenge.
Absolutely. He's been betrayed, brutalized, but when he has the chance, he refuses vengeance.
And his reason is simple but powerful. He just says it doesn't work.
That implies some serious personal growth, doesn't it? Considering everything he's been through, he's learned something profound even in slavery.
It seems so. And what's fascinating is Chivlak's reaction over time. Initially, he's just cruel and dismissive.
But later.
Later, you see this grudging respect emerge. Tivlaxov actually starts to maybe believe in Kaladin, in a way. It's not friendship, not by a long shot, but it's a shift.
So Kaladin's refusal to play the same old game of violence and hatred, it actually has an effect.
It seems to. It suggests that breaking those cycles, even on an individual level, can start to change perceptions, however slowly. It chips away at ingrained cruelty.
And that influence Kaladin has, it extends to the other men he's enslaved with, doesn't it? Even early on.
Yes, definitely. Think about that scene with Sin.
The new recruit in the bridge crew. He has that really embarrassing moment.
Right, slips and falls during training. In that environment, you'd expect relentless mockery, cruelty even. It's how things usually work.
But the others,
Mm-hmm.
they don't laugh. They don't mock him.
Exactly. There's this quiet solidarity. It's subtle, but it shows a change in the group dynamic. Maybe it's Kaladin's unspoken influence, his own quiet dignity affecting them.
Like a small act of defiance against the brutality they're forced to endure, choosing not to be cruel when cruelty is the norm.
Precisely. It's the beginning of Bridge 4 becoming something more than just a collection of doomed men. And you see Kaladin's own protective instincts emerging too, even when he's trying to stay aloof.
During the high storm, you mean, in the slave wagon.
Yeah. He's clearly isolated himself emotionally, dealing with his own trauma. But even then, he shows concern for the others, tries to help them brace themselves.
He doesn't want to connect, but he can't help but care on some level.
It's that nascent leadership emerging, not through orders, but through basic empathy and responsibility, even when he doesn't want to feel it. These are the very first seeds.
Let's shift gears a bit. What about the intellectual side, with Shallan and Jasna?
Yes. Another source of potential. Shallan approaches Jasna, this formidable scholar, hoping to become her ward.
And Jasna could easily be dismissive. Shallan is young, relatively inexperienced.
But Jasna sees something, and she gives Shallan this unexpected piece of positive reinforcement. She says, a scholar knows not to waste time rediscovering information already known.
Instead of criticizing what Shallan doesn't know, she validates what she does.
Exactly. It's constructive. It nurtures Shallan's potential rather than crushing it. It sets the stage for real intellectual growth, a positive mentorship.
And then there's Brother Capsule. He's quite different.
Oh, Capsule,
Yeah.
yes. His attempts to put Shallan at ease are, well, they're unusual. They're kind of funny.
Definitely unconventional for an Ordin, right?
Yeah.
It brings a lightness into what could be a very stuffy, rigid environment.
It does. It's another example of unexpected positive interaction. It shows that warmth and humor can exist even within these seemingly strict structures. He's trying to connect with her on a human level.
Okay, back to Kaladin and the Bridgemen. That sense of shared purpose really starts to solidify, doesn't it? Especially after the bridge runs.
Absolutely. The moment that always stands out is when Kaladin gets injured on a run.
But instead of just collapsing, he forces himself up. He binds his wounds, his feet and shoulders.
So he can keep helping carry the wounded bridgeman back, even when he's hurt himself.
That's pure responsibility, isn't it? Putting the group's survival, or at least their dignity and retrieval, above his own immediate pain.
It really is. It's not about orders anymore. It's about shared suffering and a commitment to each other. That's what starts building the loyalty in Bridge 4. His selflessness becomes infectious, in a way.
And then there's that confrontation with Gaz. That's a major turning point.
Oh, definitely. Gaz is one of the harshest overseers, constantly tormenting Kaladin and the others.
But Kaladin finally confronts him, not with violence, but with words. He says, we're going to start over new, you and I, clean.
And then the crucial part. And I want you to understand something from the start. I'm already dead. You can't hurt me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That line just, it changes everything, doesn't it?
Completely. It's this assertion of absolute inner strength. He's basically saying, your power over me, the power of fear and pain, it's gone. He strips Gaz of his primary weapon.
It's him taking control of his own narrative, in a way, refusing to be defined by his suffering.
Exactly. It shifts their entire dynamic. It's the moment Kaladin truly starts to reclaim his agency, even within the confines of slavery.
We also see this search for deeper meaning playing out with Dalinar Kholin.
Yes, the High Prince. He's haunted by his dead brother Gavilar's last words, these cryptic messages.
And he starts immersing himself in that old book, The Way of Kings.
Yeah.
The very book the series is named after.
Right. And this book is controversial, seen as outdated or even heretical by many in his society. But Dalinar's drawn to it, searching for answers, for a better way.
He's willing to look beyond the conventional wisdom, to question the codes and the politics he grew up with.
That willingness to engage with challenging ideas, to seek truth even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular, that's a huge source of potential positive change. He's looking for a moral compass.
And there's another layer of hope connected to the past, but looking towards the future with Kaladin's father, Lirin.
Ah, Lirin, the surgeon. His belief in Kaladin is so strong.
He sees Kaladin's talent for medicine, his potential, and he encourages him, doesn't he? Tells him not to settle.
Yes, that line, don't dream the small dreams of other men. He wants Kaladin to go to Kharbranth, to train properly, to become more than just a village surgeon's apprentice.
It's that parental hope, that deep desire for your child to have a better life, to fulfill their potential, even when their circumstances seem limiting.
Absolutely. Lyrin instills that ambition, that belief in self-worth, which is so important, especially given what Kaladin later endures. It's a foundation.
And finally, just touching on it, there's Sylphrina.
Right, Sylphrina, the spren that starts following Kaladin.
She's different. Not like the other Spren described in the world. Kaladin himself is confused.
He notes that spren don't usually use names. They aren't really intelligent in the way she seems to be. They don't interact like this.
So her behavior, her connection with him, it's anomalous.
It is, and it's clearly foreshadowing something significant, something transformative about to happen to Kaladin, related to the ancient powers of this world. It's a hint of magic returning, maybe.
So pulling it all together, even though the Way of Kings starts in a pretty dark place, with broken oaths and slavery and war.
These threads are already there, these moments of kindness, resilience, curiosity, responsibility. Small things, maybe, but crucial.
They're like the first sprouts, pushing through hard ground. They show the potential for growth, for change, for the characters to become something more.
It's a great reminder, really, that even when things look incredibly bleak, those seeds of hope and positive change are often present, just waiting for a chance to grow.
Yeah. And if you enjoy exploring these kinds of themes, finding those deeper currents in stories, remember to check out resources like Mindful Moments on YouTube and, of course, our podcasts.
Absolutely. We definitely encourage you to subscribe to our podcasts if you want more discussions like this one, digging into complex books and ideas.
And please, if you found this useful or interesting, share it with others who might appreciate it.
Also, if you're now inspired to read or reread The Way of Kings, using the purchase link in our description helps support us creating more content. We'd appreciate that.
Most importantly, though, keep thinking critically about the stories you read and watch. Look for those underlying messages, those possibilities for positive change within them.
So maybe the question to leave you with today is this. As you go about your day, what small seed of hope, or maybe curiosity, what seed might you choose to nurture?